What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel's Avengers. I know there's going to be some it's going to be a lot of people who feel certain kind of way about this content, but I actually enjoy this gameplay. I'm liking it quite. I like Marvel's Avengers. Each their own. You play the game that makes you happy. You play the content that makes you happy. There's going to be something different for everyone. This is some content that I actually enjoy playing, so therefore I'm going to bring it. It doesn't mean that you have to look forward to this content. It's easy to just ignore the videos. You'll get a notification for it as long as you want to stick around for content, but otherwise I will be bringing you guys content from Marvel's Avengers the same way I bring you content from Marvel's Future Fight and Marvel's Marvel Future Revolution. Now, I have played this game previously on Steam, and I'm going to tell you right now that if you're a PC player, it's probably in your best interest not to purchase this game, because I'm going to be 100% honest with you and keep it real. The player base on the PC is really low. I played the game for a while on PC, leveled up Thor, Black Panther, and Captain America, and then even Kamala Khan there. But the problem was, as the player base on PC dwindled and dwindled down to less than 1,000 players concurrently, it just became hard to find matches and to pair up with people, and that's where the game shines the most to me, is when you're able to actually run missions with people. So I had already previously purchased the game on PS5. I'm happy to say that I've figured out a way to at least record games from the PS5 to my PC, so that way I can stream, record, and so forth like that, because I'm not really keen on the PlayStation 5's recording system anyways, and having to push data from one to the other. But I'm happy and excited to be bringing you guys Spider-Man, who is now currently in the game, and basically let's just take a look in this video at some of his marketplace items that he has inside the game. One thing that's going to be of note to most people is that there are some omissions of costumes inside here. So we basically get to see Spider-Man's concrete jungle uniform, which actually looks pretty dope to me. Like, it's definitely a future tech kind of uniform inside there. Definitely not my favorite, but it's there. Now, I hate the fact that Marvel's Avenger actually does this, where basically they'll release a uniform where you'll see this one is like Spider-Man's concrete jungle suit, and then this one is Spider-Man's Hudson River suit. They're not actually different uniforms. They're the same uniform. They're just colored differently. So why even name them differently? It's one of those tactics that I'm going to always be honest with you guys about when I see them, when I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why do you guys do this? Like, this is another way at nickel and diming. Now, granted, for the price that you would pay inside Marvel Future Revolution for one costume, you could essentially buy 3 or 4 of these goddamn costumes in this game. So, like, that's just being real. But basically, we go in here. I don't really like his Spider-Man sublimate suit at all. Like, this one right here is just not kicking it for me. The Spider-Man Mark III suit, I think, was a lot of people's favorite from the trailer reveals. It looks pretty good, but you can see basically that all of these other uniforms are basically color variations of the Spider-Man Mark III suit, right? That's essentially what it is. Now, when you get over here to these uniforms, I'm like, what the fuck were they thinking with these? I'm not really a fan of those, right? Not. So, like, even when you look at this uniform, you can see where it's based off of, right? Like, it's essentially the Spider-Man Noir uniform, but the Spider-Man Noir uniform is not in the costume shop yet. Then when you got his Mark II uniform, I actually like these suits. The little collar is a little bugging, but yeah, I actually like these uniforms inside there for the Spider-Man Mark II and the basically Spider-Man Noir uniform that's inside here. That's essentially what this trench coat look is. It's the Spider-Man Noir uniform. Like, let's be real, that's essentially what it is. This one looks dope as hell to me, especially with the white shoes and the Star-Lord boots, the Civil War era. What do you call those things? I can't remember what you call those. The Gators. Yeah. We got the wrestling suit over here. I think a lot of people will end up liking this suit. It looks pretty cool, in my opinion, especially with his lucha mask on. I think my favorite uniform, though, that they currently have in the shop is not this one, not the Spider-Man under ones. I just like the way this suit look, especially with the neck lining on it. Where is it? So my favorite one is probably this Spider-Man Recluse uniform. It's probably like in the top 2 of uniforms that they basically have for his release. But my ultimate uniform is this one. I really am digging this one quite a bit. The Secret War Suit just looks pretty goddamn cool to me. Now, one of the things that players are going to complain about, this is 100% truth, like people are going to complain about this, I am not going to lie, is the fact that underneath the operations, the way characters were previously introduced for the game, especially with Black Panther and Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, was that each of these characters basically came with their own campaign. Basically, that was the intent behind the game when Square Enix announced it, is that they and Marvel Games basically said, hey, look, we want to do a story-driven game. You have to remember that, guys. This is a story-driven game. It wasn't meant to be done in 1 year. It wasn't meant to be done in October. The plan for this game was to have a longevity of content and a story be told, the same way Destiny originally promised us that we were going to get a 10-year campaign for its game in terms to see its true fulfillment, its and what they were going to be offering. So the way they're introducing content, areas, biodomes and stuff like that is based on introducing this next element of the story. So when they introduced Kate Bishop, the campaign was pretty good. The Future Imperfect, I think a lot of people really end up enjoying Hawkeye. And then we had a bit of a delay on War for Wakanda, simply for the very reason that everybody needs to recognize. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. And so this basically got released in August of this year, and it was definitely really good, but there were some problems in terms of the content that we got with this game. Now, Black Panther felt very true to form, and I think it hit really well because the mocap model for the game was actually Chadwick Boseman's his stunt double. Now, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I reported about this in one of my other videos. But Chadwick Boseman's stunt double actually did the mocap for the Black Panther, and that's probably the reason why he feels so smooth. Right now, here goes a problem with Spider-Man overall in the game, and that if you look at any of the videos that are currently featuring the character online, is that you are going to find that he doesn't kind of live up to snuff for Insomniac Games Spider-Man, which is a different game, different universe, right? So it's one of those things, like you're gonna take the good, you're gonna take some bad with some of these things, and that's just ultimately where you land on it. Like, I would love to tell you something different, but it is. Now, Spider-Man wasn't pushed in this game with a story because there was no reason to, because Spider-Man was basically coming to the game for one reason and one reason alone, and that was an exclusivity to the PlayStation 5. Now, you might have some different feelings about that. Even I probably have some different feelings about that. But overall, what you're basically essentially looking at down the character Spider-Man is that it's a question of should they have. Just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean you should do something. And I think Spider-Man is the case of that. Spider-Man is a good character to introduce as a platform specific title, especially for Sony, since they've done so much with the character. Doesn't necessarily mean that they should have done him at this time with him. And what I mean by that is that this world that they have currently with the Spider-Man character wasn't ready for Spider-Man, it isn't ready for Spider-Man. It's not at a place where the game is built. There could have been other Avengers that they actually released at this point that probably would have felt better in terms of releasing. They actually did a pretty decent job at actually introducing characters that had similar features and gameplays. Like, for instance, Hawkeye and Kate Bishop are essentially the same character, right? But there is some difference and uniqueness about the characters in the way they implement them inside the game. And I think that's one of the parts and marks where, they could have introduced straight up went for War Machine, She-Hulk, like they said they were going to get. They could have introduced Captain Marvel. These are characters we know are coming in the future, because not even just because of data mines, but because of, leaks and teases that they've put out themselves. So you wonder like what they could have done in terms of certain characters being released. The biggest faux pas that I find in the game right now is specifically essentially down to not necessarily gameplay, because I actually like the gameplay motion of it. I'm not a PvP player. I like PvE. I like story driven content, and I appreciate, you know, a world building game, because this is definitely world building. And I just wish that they would do something about their Marvel Mall in terms of how they're trying to monetize uniforms inside this game. It'd be interesting. Not to mention, I am legitimately getting tired of fighting against AIM robots. Like, nobody wants to continually fight an AIM robot over and over again. It'd be nice if we could move the story in a concerted effort to get to some next portion of the story where we're not just fighting robots, because at this point we have been fighting a lot of AIM, you know, minions, and we've been fighting a lot of, you know, robots, spider robots and things like that. Like, I like to see some more characters in the game. Like, one of the big hits that a lot of people have is we're still basically battling Scientist Supreme. We're battling Taskmaster, Abomination. Now we're battling Claw. These are B-list villains overall. Let's be honest about that. We would probably like to see some other type of villains inside the game, right? Like, I'm pretty sure most players would like to see some other type of villains. There's a whole pool of characters to basically choose from in terms of villains that would be limited, that wouldn't be limited to these, to the ones we currently have. Like, I mean, yeah, Hulk's probably biggest opponent would be Abomination, so it makes sense. Black Widow basically had a movie where Taskmaster was her biggest villain, so it makes sense. You know, Hulk had a teaser inside his heroic chain mission where he was fighting Loki. It would be nice to actually see Loki at some point in this game, right? Instead of having just that, right? So it would be interesting to see some of these characters like Captain America and him battling its Red Skull. It'd be nice that we know Hydra and AIM have worked together in the past. It'd be nice to see Hydra and AIM, you know, continuing to like work together and building up that story inside here. Overall, I have to say that Marvel's Avengers fits nicely inside of the Marvel IP space. It offers something different for other players, and the team seems hard at work in terms of developing improvements for the game overall, which I don't really think that you can complain about, if I'm being perfectly honest. I just don't think you can. Let's go and take a look at Peter Parker now. So we're gonna have to go back over here to the helicarrier to actually get his introduction and see what's going on with there. But those are my thoughts about this game, about the game overall. Like I said, one of the reasons that I'm excited to play the game in general is simply because I think that what they're offering as a AAA dev team in terms of the game in general is, you know, bar none, is definitely up there. New hero, and heroic mission chain is available. Spider-Man is now available for use and can be selected from the hero roster. Spider-Man's heroic chain is also available. So you can see he has his own heroic mission chain. All the characters have their own heroic mission chain where they're basically essentially introduced to villains. It would have been nice to get a Spider-Man operation similar to Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, where we basically would have got introduced to maybe a character like Doc Ock or Green Goblin or something like that as a villain, but doesn't seem like we're there yet. So it is what it is. The Amazing Spider-Man. Press to view the objectives. So we also had some latest upgrades to the game. Basically, we had resource economy changes, which were they're good. You know, the way the game is happening, they are definitely hard at work in terms of, you know, trying to figure out some stuff in terms of the game overall. One of the costumes that's available, the newest things that they did was the stealth Iron Man stealth uniform, which is available inside these things called shipments. You basically collect enough shipments and you'll eventually just unlock. This is the current stock, where it's Black Panther's uncommon nameplate, some gear, resources, and things like that. If you get lucky, then you could acquire, you know, then you could possibly acquire the specialty item inside there. So it's like one of those things that's hit or miss. You choose how you're going to do it. It's a good way to spend any of your what you call inside there. Like, you know, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. You just work towards it and you build up. So like, I'm not mad about it. You see, it's like 36 days. So any player basically about that grind life is going to end up with it. It's a good way to end up with other nameplates and things like that. So yeah, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. I like it. So let's jump in and let's get a look at Spider-Man hands-on. Suspicious Web. So there we go. We've got Spider-Man up here. We're going to check him out inside the harm room tutorial, and that should give us a good idea about it. Mostly, I think with a lot of people's interest with the character is primary problems is not necessarily his look, because he looks really good, but I feel like the movement. I don't know why my man's butt is so damn big. Like, I guess they had to get that Tom Holland in there, right? But there is some movement inside here. Now, I think the problem with Spider-Man, and this comes down to that decision on using the character, and it's a cool thing that you have him, but it's one of those things about whether or not you should have him at this point, because there are too many comparisons even within the space of, you know, Sony specific, that we have Insomniac games, we've got Miles Morales, and we've got Spider-Man game there to compare him to, and having those big comparisons is going to largely be part of the problem. So press X while in midair to do a web zip. Web zip. I do like the way he jumps. So I was nervous about the way that he jumps. While in mid-air, hold R2 to web swing cross long distances. I was really nervous about the way he jumped, because in the trailers that IGN put out, which I think IGN did them dirty in a major way, was that you didn't get to see the character make this stance. And this is like the iconic Spider-Man pose right here. So we didn't get that stance. We got this other weird position that he was moving to, which is just weird. No, don't end it. I want to keep doing it. Oh, there goes the wall walk. That was nice. All right, so this is the evasion basically inside the game, dodging to attack. He's basically his spider senses. Okay, that seemed off. So the one of the problems that I've had with the game in general too, when we look at this, is that Spider-Man he has a new counter or system to this. The other characters get a little icon indication that basically pulls up on screen off to the left and to the right to kind of let you know incoming missiles and incoming attacks. Spider-Man instead is getting that directly on his head. So charge the spider sense intrinsic meter by performing light attacks and heavy attacks. Okay, let's see what these takedowns look like. Yeah, the attack being on his actual head makes it a lot easier, if I'm being honest with you, to know when I'm supposed to dodge out attacks and stuff like that. If I'm being honest with you, I like to be perfectly honest. Uh, the webbing, in terms, like, you got to recognize that the world that Crystal Dynamics is working on is completely different than the world. Ooh, that was nice. So he's got an air evade as well. It's completely different than the world of Insomniac games in terms of like what you're working with there. So, ooh, that was nice. Ooh, oh, that was nice. So my main complaint is, I think the camera angle for which they've got Spider-Man zoomed in, you kind of are up at his ass a lot, and that just feels weird. This is an animation that I'm hoping that they fix, because it just looks terrible. Let's be 100% honest. This is a terrible animation for the character overall. I'm not like I'm not appealed to this at all. Like, it just looks terrible. Like, I need them to fix this. Oh, so he's got to change out his webbing. Oh, nice. These motherfuckers gonna die before they get webbed. It's like, so it's almost like he's got guns. So clearly that's a differentiation too from Insomniac games, because it's not like he's changing out cartridges in Insomniac games. He just has unlimited webs and web shooters. R1 to fire web bomb that inflects web. Okay. That piece right there just looks weird as hell to me. So he can pin targets like Thor's hammer. That's pretty interesting. Jesus, these things like went really far away. Was he webbed or nah? Nah, he wasn't even webbed. What's up with that? Fall on the wall. There you go. So he was webbed. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Some of you gonna fucking be like, nah, you know what? Fuck that. This is look whatever it is, whatever. Like I told you guys from the beginning, I'm gonna play what's fun to me, and I'm gonna deliver content for what's fun to me. And you know, like overall, you just gotta do what's fun to you. You know, play what's interesting to you. Don't allow everybody else. Ooh, we get a little spider drone. Okay, I'm not sure I feel the spider drone, but okay. I'm definitely loving his counter system more than. Ooh, nice. He feels a lot more fluid than I expected, and his playstyle is his fluidity feels more like Black Panther. So if you've played the game previously, and you enjoyed playing as Black Panther, for instance. Then you'll probably end up liking Spider-Man. Oh, that was nice. That image right there, I'm like, where did they get that movement from? I don't ever remember seeing Spider-Man take that. I mean, they'll probably end up proving me wrong by doing it, but where did they get that image from? That I don't know how I still got hit by that. All right, let's get this spider drone up. So we basically just had the Spider-Man. I'm not feeling the drone. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm not feeling the drone. Damn, I missed that completely. Oh, I still got it. My man is over here trapped. Look at that. Oh, I don't need to see all that ass, bro. I'm good. I don't need to see all that ass. I'm good without it. Make use of perfect dodge, the web zip and web swinger of Spider-Man intrinsic takedowns, defeat everybody. So they just want me to defeat everybody. Okay, okay. Oh, mass kill everybody. Oh, how did I miss that? Oh. Damn. Bad at timing that shit. You're the last one, bro. So I would like his punches and stuff like that to have a little bit more pop behind them. They don't feel like they actually have a whole shit ton of pop behind them. But I can say that I'm pretty excited about the character. I will be bringing you guys some content in the days to follow on leveling up this character. I will invest money. Matter of fact, just so you guys know, like, this is one of the things, like, you know, we were on the for instance, I was on the stream with what you call, and we got into this point about, you know, characters and things like that. And here goes one of the things I want you guys to remember, especially with games, right? You should always play what you enjoy playing. Don't let anybody else dictate what you enjoy playing, regardless of how you feel about it. Play what you enjoy playing, because if you're ultimately playing what you enjoy playing, then ultimately it's going to be a good experience for you overall. I'm going to enjoy playing this game. I'm going to enjoy playing as this Spider-Man, even with my apprehensions prior to this. That's the truth of the matter. So I know that I will, but we'll see. And hopefully you guys follow along because you like the content. Maybe his Spider-Man, nope, his Spider-Man Noir uniform is not even in here. I'm a little surprised by that. I'm like, where the hell is his Spider-Man Noir uniform? Is this something that they're planning on releasing? Hopefully, here goes something I'm really hoping for, is that with the new movie that we end up with the Spider-Man kit from there. But let me know what you guys think in the comment sections. You know, if you got something negative, say something negative. If you got something positive, say something positive. I am pleasantly surprised. I'm going to play with him some more, and I'll bring you guys content for it, because that's what I'm going to do. It is. Until next time, guys, peace.